to Sunday morning in Uganda. But happy Saturday for those of you who are still on Saturday, June the 6th, 2026. I wanted to do a very brief video about what is circulating on social media and highlight some of the positive things that are going on in Uganda for Ugandans, so that we're not blindsided and focus on the negative. Okay, my name is Lady. I am back to chat a bit further about what's going on in Uganda. I'm coming to you from the US right now. It's about 4 or 5 p.m., almost 5 p.m. here, West Coast time. Okay. I'm more wounded you for a piano and your lady. Tamika Pian Kong and your clock kid woman knock. Jamo Maticati mail over Uganda. I'm here over and then on a Walloka Juma Beju Maticati me. Pianma Reginald Water and on my bed in a vanity. The Amete were gonna or med were get one wa Ikamajama Beju tea to twilight. We're jol a lot Conan. Okay. So I'm here to highlight on the good things that are happening in Uganda, and to keep the faith alive, keep us on the positive side, despite lots of negativity going on. I wanted to speak a little bit about the debate about Rwandese people in Uganda and how they're trying to defend Gashumba and Dr. Lawrence Muganga is those are one of the two of the two key players in the, I'll call it comedy of Rwandese placement in Uganda. We don't, as a people of Uganda, we do not hate Rwandese people as a people. Okay? I believe there's good and bad people everywhere. Like many people believe. There are murderers in any person, any group of people. There's every kind of group of people, behavior, belief, character, in every group or nationality of people, everywhere in the world. In this day and age, you can't say certain people are like this or certain people are like that. So we can't really say that Rwandese particularly are all bad, like all of them are terrible people. No, we can't say that because it won't be true. Let's give credit where it's due. The problem with the Rwandese in Uganda is that they came seeking help. And I'm not saying they'd have to stay helpless. Ugandans embraced them, gave them a home, gave them clothing, gave them plots of land to grow their food. We gave them everything to keep them at home, welcome them, make them feel at home, took them out of camps, brought them into the community, integrated them. We gave them our names, we gave them our food, we gave them our culture, many blended in, which would be perfectly fine. Believe it or not, the reason I speak English is because of some sort of blending in. Atika wachi tikuberichani debate ma wali lokom Rwandese ko Rwandese betini ko Rwandese yate meni ni joma raju lok madam tika lokoneni ubera da malobu lokom Rwandese matie Uganda bien kai kermer kaki loka da dano joma raju ki joma bejo tie ka weng iloboni. Pero mu wachi Chinese I don't bear loy. Pero mu wachi Muni I don't bear loy. Pero mu wachi Ochol don't bear loy. Pero mu wachi Jo Mexican don't bear loy. Nyo Jo Mareju loy Jo Mareju. Petie wachu ni rubabe na po yubu kudi dano manotie I gruba chel. Maketi kit gi nyo tich gi dong bejo. Ma weng ma leng loyo pa Jo mu kene. Eni pada atika wachi wagene wanen loka Rwandese enini kiada inano Dano makilwone Rwandese ni. One pekete poti wachi gen weng dongo joma rej wa joma ti wako wa joma ti kakwena weng ni Rwandese te akido itiki remo pa Rwanda inde dano maraj. Kugu bena eni pada ruba pochwe yukori dano muberu kumeno mano guru bachel uberu la kiramani ni gen noka weng ti group mukene uberu la joma mukene ko eni pada chi gina mi Rwandese mati Uganda ni rajo gin wakatere joma Rwandese mati Uganda ni gin dano ma obino ma obera ria yela gubiano kun gitika yenyu kwa ma oli da bebe kwa piantungangi kachano luenyu totong no tiye maraja deda chiwa jolo gi wamini gi kaberu wamini gi gai wamini gi ngom jo mo kana luteno gi nying jo Uganda wamini gi yo menongo don lo be kwage wamini gi jami weng mai ramo tamune ma kadano bien welo I jolly meal Ugandans down manually my Uganda twin down uber down jo ma peru ikar mago jolo kere jo Rwandese ni down ma twin gu beru bedu gu jolo bena ki be twin ki ma kit maruba wati kache welo ma obiano nyo down ma ruenyo down ma mero kon itimo mabe chalo umero I jolo chalo mero Yesu bena ki bi jolo kama Mary ucharo chenywale yeni la kwa diang monini ujolo wai bien we kunywal latini kikaka enini akul diang eni be puti wa kunyoni I gene Bethlehem kacha chi jol ma wan ma jolo kere Johnny wa mini gi jami ro weng guberu gang mot la buya yela Johnny do lakero nan ko badichani Rwandese ni danu me Uganda mier po ywe en perotika kenyu one poor take down ma kilwone Rwandese wa kan down ma ti Rwandese do ata ber ma beje ne benatie en to macha me Uganda ni en wa ko berchani local Rwandese ku ka wenge en wa Dr. Lawrence Muganga ni pero mo beru mot pianti ka yele ki kwete ki tek weng men yutani en de tie do nyoli me Uganda dong mer ma do karo ma en ni koneni ko de date ma giti kere ni no pere uno ayela mo be berpe I'm saying that this Lawrence, Dr. Lawrence Muganga, had it been that Rwandese arrived in Uganda or migrated in Uganda like I came to the United States, and these guys came and, you know, Uganda was a level playing field. They came and, you know, worked hard on merit, earned what they deserve from working hard and letting Ugandans be and letting everyone do what they can to achieve what they can. You know, had that been the case, there would be no debate about where Dr. Lawrence Muganga is from. We wouldn't care if Dr. Lawrence Muganga fell from the sky. We wouldn't care. If Uganda was not, you know, stifled by Rwandese people, that is the problem we have in Uganda, and that is why there's a huge debate about the belonging of Dr. Lawrence Muganga and why it is wrong for Dr. Lawrence Muganga to be the minister of an intimate ministry like internal affairs that deals with immigration identity of a country like Uganda. That is the problem with Rwandese people in Uganda. The fact that the president of Uganda is a Rwandese national, is a Rwandese refugee. Even if, let's say, he was, and let Ugandans be, you know, you would say, you know what? He's not a terrible human being. And he allowed for term limits to be, and he allowed for age limit to be, and he allowed for Ugandans who are professional, educated, worth it, have earned positions to live in to have their positions and live. A simple thing as living is now a decision of these Rwandese people when it comes to Ugandans. That is the problem we have. with these Rwandese people. That is why Uganda cannot continue being peaceful, living peacefully, and ignoring the problem of Rwandese people in Uganda. Atika wachi, gino we akopeti chawa ni lokom Rwanda dong joma aki Rwanda dong tera deda ena ye piani Johnny do binu kun gimete gini law down manually me Uganda lawyer teach and manan madano konan go binu magiberu mot mamu 7 keri no kwaila dit lowo no binu beru magadi aki kom no pick a dear term limit no pick a dear age limit uno joma yanyu teach no teach kita teach miero no ngakere miero be kenen anati wako kan ini wako kan yi America kan in kagi money ini no ni ini twero icheri chunkere icheri chitemune pian ini twero peki bi penyi ni ai kwene ka ini twero koni ber American koni ber kwe itimu kita iumer teki pay toro check ento man me Uganda ni koi go gina ye la dit lobo gina ye ko minister menga kuperi chani dong lutiano ge dong itika chwalo ne med makoloch kun ki wote gweto jo manually me Uganda kun ki wote neko inano jo kwame Uganda kupedi chawane in keketi in down my lawn nyo tiki business matika word mabe unyo tiki asset maduan Uganda unyo in latela mabe Uganda unyo in ti position mabe Uganda kwoni baby beru kita ruba yubo ni ubed kere kwoni Museveni gia ye tierro awena mamier kwoni utumkere. Gena yelu kwa nko padano. Gena yelu ma teach about Ugandans. Gena yelu ne Ugandans. Gena yelu ket Ugandans e gena camp. Gena yelu to look Ugandans ki chilem. Gena anywhere look Rwandese ni raja deda Uganda. The reason why Rwandese are a bit further about what's going on in Uganda. I'm coming to you from the US right now. It's about 4 or 5 p.m., almost 5 p.m. here, West Coast time. Okay. I'm more wonder too for Biano and your lady. Tamnika Bien Kong and your clock get woman knock. Jamo Matika Timay over Uganda. I'm here over and then on a Walore Conjuma Beju Matika Timay. Pianma Reginald Water. And my bed ability. The amete were gonna or met were get one wa ikama jama bed tea to twale. We're quite jol a lot kaunen.
Hi, my name is Brenda, and today I'm going to take you through the procedure on how employees can whistleblow non-payment to NSSF. Step 1. Go to the NSSF website www.nssfug.org. Step 2. Select self-service. Step 3. Select whistleblower. Step 4. Select report non-compliance option. Step 5. Select non-compliant employer option. Step 6. Fill in the form. You may choose to remain anonymous by selecting yes, or alternatively, provide your contact details for all follow-up by selecting no. Step 7. Write the title of your complaint. For example, under declaration on non-payment to NSSF contributions, and describe your complaint under full description of issue. Step 8. Type in the name of the employer. If the employer's name does not appear automatically, always type it in manually using the official registered name. If registered, please
Okay. So I'm here to highlight on the good things that are happening in Uganda. And, to keep the faith alive, keep us on the positive side, despite lots of negativity going on. I wanted to speak a little bit about, the debate about Rwandese people in Uganda and how they're trying to defend Gashumba and Dr. Lawrence Muganga. Those are one of the two of the two key players in the, I'll call it comedy, of Rwandese placement in Uganda. We don't, as a people of Uganda, we do not hate Rwandese people as a people, okay? I believe there's good and bad people everywhere, like many people believe. There are murderers in any any person, any group of people. There's every kind of group of people, behavior, belief, character, in every group or nationality of people, everywhere in the world. In this day and age, you can't say certain people are like this or certain people are like that. So we can't really say that Rwandese particularly are all bad, like all of them are terrible people. No, we can't say that because it won't be true. Let's give credit where it's due. The problem with the Rwandese in Uganda is that they came seeking help. And I'm not saying they'd have to stay helpless. Ugandans embraced them, gave them a home, gave them clothing, gave them plots of land to grow their food. We gave them everything to keep them at home, welcome them, make them feel at home, took them out of camps, brought them into the community, integrated them. We gave them our names, we gave them our food, we gave them our culture. Many blended in, which would be perfectly fine. Believe it or not, the reason I speak English is because of some sort of blending in. Atika wachi, tikuberichani debate ma wai lokom Rwandese ko Rwandese betini ko Rwandese ya temeni ni joma raju. Lok ma down tika lokoneni ubera da ma lokom Rwandese matie Uganda. Bien. Kai ker mer ka ki loga da dano joma raju ki joma bejo tie ka weng iloboni. Pero mu wachi Chinese dong belo, pero mu wachi Munya dong belo, pero mu wachi Ochol dong belo, pero mu wachi jo Mexican dong belo, nyo joma raju lo joma raju. Petie wachu ni rubabe na po yubu kudi dano mano tie I gruba chel, maketi kit gi nyo tij gi dong bejo. Ma weng ma leng loyo pa jomo kerne eni pada atika wachi wagene wanen loka Rwandese enini kiada inano dano makilwone Rwandese ni wan pekete poti wachi gen weng dong ngo joma raju wa joma ti wako wa joma ti kakwena weng ni Rwandese te kido itiki remo pa Rwanda inde dano maraj kugu bena eni bada ruba po chwe ukori dan mo beru kumeno mano gruba chel uber la kera mani ni gen no ka weng chi group mo kan uber la jo mo kan ko eni bada chi gena mi Rwandese mati Uganda ni rajo gen wakatere jo ma Rwandese mati Uganda ni gen dan ma obino ma beru ria yera gupiano kun gitika yenyu ko ma oli da bebe Kwa piantungangi kachano luanyo totong no tiye maraja deda. Chiwa jolo gi, wamini gi kaberu, wamini gi kagai, wamini gi ngom. Jomo kena lutiano gi nying jo Uganda. Wamini gi yo menongo don lobe kwa gi. Wamini gi jami weng mai ramotamune ma kadano biano welo. Ijoli mio. Ugandans down manually my Uganda twin down uber down joma uberu ikare magu jolo kere jo Rwandese ni down ma twin gu beru beju gu jolo bena ki be twin ki ma kip maruba wachi kache welo ma obiano nyo down ma ruenyo down ma mero kon itimo mabe chalo umero ijolo chalo mero Yesu bena ki bi jolo kama Mary ucharo chenywale yeni la kwa diang monini ujolo wai bien wa kunywa latini kikaka enini akul diang eni be putie wa kunyoni I gene Bethlehem kacha chi jol ma wan wa jolo kere Johnny wa mini gi jami ro weng guberu gang mot la buona yela Johnny do lakero now ko badichani Rwandese unerne danu me Uganda mier po yue en perotika kenyu one poor take down ma kilwoni Rwandese wa kan down ma ti Rwandese do ata ber ma beje ne benatie en to macha me Uganda ni en wa ko berchani loka Rwandese ku ka wenge en wa Dr. Lawrence Muganga ni pero mo beru mot pienti ka yele ki kwete ki tek weng men yutani en de tie do nyoli me Uganda dong mer ma do karo ma en ni koneni ko de date ma giti kere ni no pere uno I'm saying that this Lawrence, Dr. Lawrence Muganga, had it been that Rwandese arrived in Uganda or migrated in Uganda like I came to the United States, and these guys came and, you know, Uganda was a level playing field. They came and, you know, worked hard on merit, did earned what they deserve from working hard and letting Ugandans be and letting everyone do what they can to achieve what they can. You know, had that been the case, there would be no debate about where Dr. Lawrence Muganga is from. We wouldn't care if Dr. Lawrence Muganga fell from the sky. We wouldn't care. If Uganda was not, you know, stifled by Rwandese people, that is the problem we have in Uganda, and that is why there is a huge debate about the belonging of Dr. Lawrence Muganga and why it is wrong for Dr. Lawrence Muganga to be the minister of an intimate ministry like internal affairs that deals with immigration identity of a country like Uganda. That is the problem with Rwandese people in Uganda. The fact that the president of Uganda is a Rwandese national, is a Rwandese refugee. Even if, let's say, he was, and let Ugandans be, you know, you would say, you know what? He's not a terrible human being. And he allowed for term limits to be, and he allowed for age limit to be, and he allowed for Ugandans who are professional, educated, worth it, have earned positions to live in to have their positions and live. A simple thing as living is now a decision of these Rwandese people when it comes to Ugandans. That is the problem we have with these Rwandese people. That is why Uganda cannot continue being peaceful, living peacefully, and ignoring the problem of Rwandese people in Uganda. Atika wachi, gino we akopeti chawa ni lokom Rwanda dong joma aki Rwanda dong tera deda ena ye piani Johnny do biano kun gimiete gini law down manually me Uganda lawyer teach and madano konan go biano magiberu mot mamu 7 keri no kwaila dit lowo no biano beru magadi aki kom no peke diero term limit no peke diero age limit uno joma yanyo teach no teach kita teach miero no ngakere miero be kenen anati wako kan ini wako kan yi America kan in kagi money ini no ni ini twero icheri chunkere icheri chitemune pian ini twero peki bi penyi ni ai kwene ka ini twero koni ber American koni ber itimu kita iumer teki pay toro check ento man me Uganda ni koigo gina ye la dit lobo gina ye ko minister manga kupedi chani dong lutiano ge dong gitika chwalo ne med makoloj kun ki wote gweto jo manually me Uganda kun ki wote neko inano jo kwome Uganda kupedi chawane in keketi in down my line nyo tiki business matika word mabe unyo tiki asset maduan Uganda unyo in latela mabe Uganda unyo in iti position mabe Uganda kwoni baby beru kita ruba yubo ni ubed kere kwoni Museveni gia ye tierro awena mamiere kwoni utumkere gena yelu kwa nko padano gena yelu ma teach about Ugandans gena yelu ne Ugandans gena yelu ket Ugandans e gena camp gena yelu to look Ugandans ki chilem gena anywhere look Rwandese ni raja deda Uganda. The reason why Rwandese are a complete pest and must leave Uganda is because of their habits, their behaviors, and what they have turned Uganda to be. It is because of Rwandese that now the age limit for presidency is till death. It is because of Rwandese that term limits for presidency is off limits now. You could be until forever. It is because of Rwandese that certain groups of people must be, in camps. Certain group of people, their homes must be broken. Certain groups of people, like certain kingdoms, must not thrive. The kingdom of Ankole, because of the Rwandese coming in, Museveni made sure that the Ankole kingdom does not exist because he feels like he cannot exist under another king. You see, because of Rwandese, actually people had to go and live in camps. Because of Rwandese coming in, Luero, several Baganda were killed. Several, numberless. You cannot count. You cannot imagine how many people from Buganda died in Luero while Museveni was ushering in. Because of Rwandese, HIV became a big deal because they literally injected Ugandans with HIV. Because of Rwandese, people, the youth who are 80% of the population of Uganda are hopeless. Tons of them take flights to go and work in the Middle East. Museveni made fun of them the other day about going to Dubai to look for what and so on and so forth. He's mocking them, and yet he knows exactly what he did. Because of Rwandese, all government agencies of Uganda were privatized and shared amongst themselves. The little group of Rwandese, of Museveni's company that came at once, split Ugandans at a dining table while they had dinner to say, you take over this bank, you take over this bank, you take over this hospital, you take over this service, you take over this. And because of that, because of Rwandese, Uganda no longer has services that serve the people. All services are sucking the life out of Ugandans, and whatever money that's left, little here and there, is taken up by them. It is because of Rwandese we pay hefty taxes and see no medications in hospitals, no roads, none of the services that should have been provided to Ugandans as a national of a country, despite the taxes that are paid. It is because of Rwandese. Offices like URA, they can literally hold a meeting in Kinyarwanda, and because they're all Rwandese. It is because of Rwandese that in Uganda, a university graduate has no hopes that they could graduate with a degree in bioengineering. Like one of the youths who went to see Museveni with Kasuku when they went to the State House. When Museveni asked him what he studied bioengineering, but he's a TikToker. I'm not saying TikTok is not income. You don't make enough on TikTok. People make a killing on TikTok. But I'm talking about instances where compared to what he would be doing if he would have the access to perform as a biotech engineer, he would have excelled. He would serve his country. He would do well for Uganda and for himself. Okay? It is because of Rwandese. I can name on and on and on. It is because of Rwandese there's a sovereignty bill. It is because of Rwandese that oppositions cannot exist in Uganda except designer oppositions for Museveni, designed by Museveni, like the Besije and Mpuga and DP and all that, all those parties. And DP shamelessly is now coming out to say or appear as a Rwandese whatever. It is because of these Rwandese that Gashumba will come out and say he can command M23 to come and clear Uganda of indigenous Ugandans because he feels like he can. It is because of Banyarwanda that the parliament of Uganda, a whole speaker, is abducted like a thief and not brought before court and not prosecuted. Even if she, let's say they have a special way of handling this, she was not handled legally the way it should. Atika wachi gino dong jo makilwoni Banyarwanda omiero a kilo Uganda dok mi pianka again bino yang ki yegi wajologi ento dongu dok wango ayela ko omiero pe ko beri pian manaka gi bien Achulu beri camp. Managa gibin term limits. And makabay la dirlo mi ber mwaka pa ko mwaka dini. Eni donki ngoloko. Dirlo don la dirlo la benaka. Man Museveni ruenya. Man yutani Museveni bu beru president kon kwane tie kon kwane pe. Bien kichoya de constitution I penchik me lobo ni la dirlo bo petie kingo agiki penge. Inano ena miurachi. Kiwachi president pedong pegi para kono imwa mia beach ibina romberu la dirlobo endo pegi paro pian yang no kiwachi mwa piera beer we beach no don ka en do karo don pero mo chungu cha la dirlobo en la banya ronda chelo ko beri chani latin culture kwan wa university en no put piara mo bene pero mo mino latin en position meneno ni anda kwana kumanda romo chako yenyu teach pian teach pare dana di ma kwana ma gi ma girom tem ne pe latin mon la leon chaki ker cher state house ka cha gen jo ma TikTok bu cher gen ni la cho ma ke luoni gen kasuku ki cher kunu Museveni upen latini la cho latina wobini ki gen ki microphone waji ini kwanu ngo wai ana kwanu bioengineer ko nen kong ini bioengineer tech kulu technician kulu tij ma latini romo timune tij ma pira tech ma rom ma chali yenyu ko tuo ki ngongo gini ento tin gina latini en romo timune ma lobu ko tichi en ni plong pere o dok don ka timu video en TikTok ena ye don tiu keken inano po gina lobo Uganda da bulu ayo per percent pera ya boro kulu bulu me Uganda pien kai ini tie la kira mani kenyu kai launch unyo business ya what mabe unyo iberi position mabe kuoni bene gena ye no gena yo wachi eni don kwane ram don ke kwan ko pangari pien en wero en Rwanda chelo karini ineni ikarma gen donyu jo meluero kacha baganda maki go maki kimerne ko kimerte ko oli wengi mono pien Rwanda zubini lobo Uganda inano pero pa Rwanda pegik Kuberichano gitamni gena yomier gilo Uganda. Kuberichawa ni lutiano maodoni I parliament. Jo manyen maodoni parliament maki luongi ni PLU tutwale maaki tung Buganda kenyu modakere dong tung western kacha. Pole dong lutiano pa jo mayangu donyi gene Museveni geni. Nyano. Gikara ma joni donyo bene. Gutem gena kiloni privatization terni ki kwanyo enti mogu magamento miero beta timune dano mano anywali me Uganda ni gu kwanyo ko office mogu chalu kweke chalu bank mogu mano miero bet bank me Uganda kwere chani bank mati Uganda mapa Ugandans giario ken dok red bank eguni ber jogi bene petie pien bank mayangu bien gu kwal bank me achel magu no Greenland ma ber bank pa down me anywali me Uganda gu mayo Salim Saleh Museveni Janet gu kwanyu bank eni watin kesi puti court jal red bank eni kineko ineno so jami marwandis magu donyo kere Uganda magu timi kom down dogi mede kitimi ne duande da enwero Look me Rwandese debate and petum me the benepa meru geni pien gien kelu pero ke ken bojo annually me Uganda inano ko berishani gitika wachi ebola duon Uganda pien gimete ginong chente ki wa chente li enuni gube chamo bere pigi ken gi chente eni pe obo dano plan gitieni obiere gitak tutu dano ko ki tuo mugo marajo maberu chal ki ebola we are global bambwa ye ni ebola ti Uganda da ina timpa chil pa joni ikare ma joni bienu gutu judanu kichilim pingo lok misilim po beru diep tutwali kare po bore ikare pa Idi Amin. Why wasn't HIV AIDS a big deal in the government of Obote and Idi Amin and the predecessors? Why was it that when Museveni came, HIV AIDS became a huge deal? Because right now, Museveni is the owner of the factory that produces ARVs, which is medications for HIV, to maintain stability of the virus in people's body. Komberi chawana tika wachi, gamente pa Museveni, ma Museveni ki komeni, ena ye red factory ma yubu yat ma tuju gena yat ma kelwoni ARVs pa ma gena malaria ni factory eno ni obedo factory pa Museveni ki come in ke go la dit lobo Carmen donyo otuju dano go ki Selim dano Selim pero mtum ki Uganda gulu kenyu kake wachi Selim Dr. America kituju dano tie ijero riar jaro kwa nyuremo nyo kitiyu kilibir nyo kituju HIV virus ki come kom dano pien gimete kilono nga dano ma nyo lime Uganda ineno chiko mbedi chawani da wunpo ye debate matika bieno en lokom jo muguma aki Rwanda mage miero beru in ministry makilwoni internal affairs beri wachi bedroom madiet otangati monini ini awa kikamoni ini mieti kakimini ini welo kiwa ini puri wikom gena kacha in pe miero imieti iberi bedroom aye ineno mona ni petiu en gina watika kwerdan makilwoni Dr. Lawrence Muganga uberu welo peramu beru kama tie in ministry make yubu ye passport ministry make yubu ye ID pien manyuti noni dong obichoyo dong passport ben dong dino sama dina kono kenywalo Rwandese money ko puya kenywalo kwango gen weng dong tuku no ngarta manyuti dong gen weng do boberu ngo dano me Uganda dong kita yi gumiro meno ni petie lobo moke ken maromo poko party enune ministry enune bod dano ma donyi ko Balma wan watemu young John ye Museveni bin barike. We made a huge mistake allowing Museveni to come and be a president of Uganda. That was a huge mistake. Our parents did it. We cannot reverse it, but our generation must not allow for this to continue with their lineage. No. The Ministry of Internal Affairs is too intimate to be given to a foreigner like Dr. Lawrence Muganga to rubber stamp and continuously give entry freely to these Rwandese people. Gashumba made a statement and said that Ministry of Internal Affairs has been the biggest enemy of Rwandese, rightfully so. Because what Gashumba means by that is that internal affairs should become like Nasa Road, where they can generate whatever they can for whomever without question. The reason Aronda Nyakairima was killed was because Aronda refused to open that door for the Rwandese to just gain passports and access into Uganda freely. There is not a country that allows for that. Otherwise, the whole world would be one field of everyone. There would be no identity. We would all be one big world. You know, it doesn't matter where you come from or how you look like or whatever. But the problem of Rwandese in Uganda, the problem that Rwanda has in Uganda is because Rwandese in Uganda have stifled livelihood of Ugandan natives in Uganda. That is the big problem. Gino weldano makiloni Rwandese pebe Uganda wacheli ena yepiani Johnny enuni gine gutoro kwa jo manually me Uganda deda dok gimete kitoro ne koi go balalo kubedichani ya chwele kachani balalo tika weng magitika manu ngom madano matope dugu kaucher por pe dugu duanta dan maketon duanta dan manoki temnining duanta iya chwele kacha Northern Uganda Eastern kuja weng gien gubiro diai ma wenki ya chwele ni weng pa Rwandese. All the cattle that is lost from Teso towards from eastern all the way to the north, central, everywhere, because of Rwandese coming to Uganda. There is a long list of Rwandese problems in Uganda. So we don't care if they are born there or if they are whatever there, because when they came, we welcomed them as refugees. Period. If they were good guests, they would not make sure that they're the only ones in the leadership of Uganda. That Museveni must be the president of Uganda, and then Museveni's son must continue the presidency. Then Muhoozi's son must continue the presidency. That is problem number one with Rwandese in Uganda. Pero maraj dong loyo ki beru ki job Rwandese mati Uganda ni ena yeni gien tamni gien ayo mier gi lo Uganda gien ken gi meno pelare no gien tamoni Museveni ya mier bedla dilobo ka eno tiago wode da ko kwan gini ka eno a wota muhozi benedare o mede kingo kitelu Ugandans meno eni petwere. The first thing Museveni did when he settled in Ankole was to make sure the kingdom of Ankole is destroyed completely. Because he felt like it was too much competition. That is the problem we have with Rwandese, and we cannot entertain it any further. The rest of them, after all of this is done, we can resort ourselves and reorganize and see about what rules and laws they must follow if they remain. But it is in our favor not to allow this to continue. No. Gina pira tek loyo ena yeni joma ki luongi ni balalo nyo Rwandese. Po ye gu mapi. Po ye gu ben mot. Pipero manama chel gintam ni gina yelu lodge me Uganda. Keken karma Museveni bini Ankole kachao neno ni other kingdoms must not exist alongside him. The Karaka of Buganda cannot come out to say, why are you breaking down houses of my people? Because he's under siege. Uganda is that they think that they are the owners of the slaves they call Ugandan nationals. They have made Ugandan slaves in their own country. They dictate when and how long somebody lives. That is a big problem. Pero madong right law ena yeni Rwandese tamni gena yo miera gi law Uganda. Meno yeni po ye. Pian down tomorrow. Anyway. In fact, it could be the only reason why Rwandese are not welcome in Uganda. It's because they think they are the owners of Uganda and they're the only ones good for leadership in Uganda. No, unacceptable. That is the problem. Anywhere can exist, no problem. I even have friends here who are from Rwanda. I do. I've had employees who are Rwandese. I've hired Rwandese people to work in my businesses. But I kid you not, the problem is the Rwandese in Uganda who think they are the almighty in Uganda. That is the problem. Peradi achele ken. Ni Johnny tamni giena yomira gila lobo Uganda. Eni pewa ye. Enwero Dr. Lawrence Muganga omiera peki ye obed minister kamonke ken Uganda tutwale pe ministry me internal affairs. No, especially the Ministry of Internal Affairs, he should not be allowed to. And I'm glad the pressure's mounted, he has been thrown out, or whatever the case might be. They could be playing games, and this might as well be a diversion, but a diversion that has made the drums beat. I mean, if they were wondering how we feel, I think they know. Don't you think so? If Rwandese were wondering how we feel just by appointing this diversion they may call diversion, I think now they know that they cannot exist in Uganda anymore because they were guests. We gave them everything. We gave them our names. But they've continuously moved the goalposts and stifled life for Ugandans. That is unacceptable. That is my point about being against Rwandese in Uganda. Anywhere Joma aki Rwanda mier po yegi ubed umatpi ubed mara Uganda. Gashumba gi eno berkilo kwenen gashumba mamwa. Tika wachi en kadan po ye Joma aki Rwanda Uganda. Any be commanding, any be kelulu mon makilwoni M23 kubingu nek jo Uganda. Kego kong. Where does this useless man called Gashumba get the power to say something like that in a country where he's a guest of? He's a descendant of the guest. His father was a refugee. Talk about being ungrateful. They have stolen all the cattle of all Ugandans everywhere. Chris Kyonga, those are the people who went and burned people in Teso, in cargo, in trains. So we must not accept these Rwandese people in Uganda under any circumstance. Not. We must not. Whatever they're trying to do, obviously right now, several things are against them. And thank God, because for the best reasons and interests of Ugandans, everything they're doing is working against them. Ebola. They are the ones who own the hotels. They're the ones who own the tourist industry. They are the ones who do all of Kazora. Was complaining the other day about, the pronouncement of Ebola and how they've taken it too far. It is pinching them. It is hurting them where it matters. The sovereignty bill, they put that to be sure to ban Bobby Wine from doing what he's supposed to do. It has ended up hurting them instead. The dual citizenship bill, they set that up to try to stop Dr. Chingi from getting back to Uganda. But guess what? It is now biting on Dr. Lawrence Muganga. Everything they're doing is against them. Museveni is so old, tired, and exhausted that he has manic episodes of dementia in State House, being chased down the hallways and put tied down in a room just so that he doesn't become a nuisance to himself. We have everything for us and everything they have and make against them. The Bible says,
you got Glovo. You got it all. You got Glovo. You got it all.
Order a Glovo and receive it in minutes.
The wish. They say whatever an evil person wishes on somebody else happens to them. But the Bible also says that whatever a righteous person wishes comes to them. So basically, whatever you wish comes to you. Whether you wish it on you or someone else. It just matters if it is from your heart. And whatever it is will come to you. So all the rules, all the laws, everything that they are putting to try to stifle Ugandans or Ugandans abroad or Ugandans in Uganda are essentially affecting them. Chiek weng magitika timune kupetichana tie wachi jami magitika timune kupetichawani meneno ni gineno ni joma annually ma Uganda udenu chana dada changi potum jami nu kupetichani doktika wonogia ye neno lok me Ebola ni guwaji kilobo weng ni Ebola tieko ini neno ka gukatiki lok me Ebola kuman lobo mukana dong lor dogola gero wachi po amiro joma komgi tuo Ebola koni donyo kere lobo wa man kuberi chani pegi romo nongu visa kari kitiki visa pegi romo nongu ticket dege mugo dong pe o Uganda ba dege mugo pe piebe dong pe gamo joma ake Uganda pi tuo maki wachi Ebola ti Uganda ni kun lok nguno ba guwajo endi mera waja wek ngo gene nong chiente pian jui ka Museveni ukok manok ni lo ma wako tuki chwalo chene chot pian jami weng ma Museveni utimo temu kun tiki plan menu to ne ena ye gene ibinu chalo malaika Messiah chalo Yesu kunoni nyuruni ena ye ibinu ka konyo dano peni kuno ena yo kelo peko ne ba chale iluero kacha Museveni ubinu bitonge ki job aganda kenyu bine di woto dano udiku binu ka kokedu ni uya lok man dok rado gene do rarajma ubora job bora yo binu to dano kuno ena yo biontona ko beri chawa ni lwen mo beri katime kono Somalia kono kwena madon ki luo Museveni ni ena ye peacekeeper ni ena ila guap gina ni peacekeeper ni Karman Museveni monye M23 chero chelu peng matek kado en monye UPDF orgi wachi uchero chigina uchero chinen ni gina jo mani mateo chelu dane guweko chelu dane ko en Museveni go chim ki M23 wachi chelu matek Kado nguche ramo wachi aya do duk chen kada or UPDF wai uchero chinen karmano UPDF tika donyo no M23 tika weng no plan pa Museveni inano lo ma wako war Museveni pe mwake mapol to la chocha tiyu ki siasa keken manara. I'm talking about M23, for example, in Congo, the way Museveni has been operating, where they think that he is the Messiah or is the Savior and so on and so forth. Right now, he's trying to make Muhoozi come up as that, but it's still failing because he doesn't have the same wires in his head. Museveni would come in the night, cause atrocities, come in the morning and cry with people. And so even in Somalia, places like Somalia, Congo, he would be the one to send M23 to go and cause attacks. And then bring UPDF to come in and try to quench the situation. In the meantime, he would call M23 and tell them, oh, retreat, do not, stop. So that UPDF seems like they are getting on top of what, they're dispersing the conflict that is happening currently. The U.S. believed him. In Somalia, Museveni was Al-Shabaab. When he hit people in Kololo in Uganda a couple of years ago, I think 2021, when they were watching the World Cup, it was Museveni. He set up, the bombings to kill people so that he can get money from the Western world. I mean, it has been a long time coming, but this man has now been figured out. Let us not allow for this to continue in his son or whatever he thinks he wants to set in place. Do not allow this Muganga nonsense. Flush it all the way. Muganga must not exist and be a minister of internal affairs, because it is an intimate ministry where we control in and out, migration here and there, identity of Ugandans. If Muganga becomes and continues to be the minister in that department, the problem is that our identity will be given to Rwandese, without a doubt. Big issue, okay? Not a ministry like that, not at all. So, I kilebecholi na tiwachi jami moguma tika time kupeti chawani tika time pibewa ineno kari gikeru meneno ni gitur wadeda iyonge kai neno ko mot jami ne time pibe pa lobo jo me Uganda Museveni ke kan mwaka ne do cher chitumo gubu ne be don pe kai neno woro no kituju ki tuan yat men weko ni ubet uram chung ki yat ka cha state house kitiru mako ne amaka beti really ria wachi jo money mo to tika ria me ki meru neke ineno mono tuo me di which kan make luoni dementia ento danma no ne luak ne danma maduong kumeno ni no adaje me mogo libu ineno so jali anu ne mwaka do chero ma dong tika mini one chance jo me Uganda meneno ni ene dong kapewa mako mabewe eni ka do bot ke chengwa chubo beru tak kwanye na bo beru tak bill makiluoni sovereignty bill ke yibo bill ene meneno ni ke toro Bobby Wine ogo ma oberu latin Uganda matika temo chu meneno ni ene beru bena latela ilobo ne o mano miera ke ye kai kano nene jali pedano marach Bobby Wine no miero chung pire kene chalu dano me Uganda beno ki ye ki bol kui ire kadi dano miero Museveni don kanong peke yer do cherchi bed mot eni Museveni pe ye inano eno we okero bill me sovereignty ento sovereignty bill ko bede chawani to ko kayo jalma ke luoni gena ne yoko Muganga dok bill cherchi kayo ne yoko inano we gitemu jemi kuno gitamani gitemu pirache kom dano ma ake Uganda ento pore komgi ibola kubedi chawani gena ye rweri hotel madon Uganda gena ye wegi tourism gena ye wegi passport gena ye wegi visa gena ye tieki kwa mabe me chero wako me kar me dugu ko bedi chani get kilor ligwing dege ma pie entebe pegamo dano ma ake Uganda mogo kelu chilaka nono chera jo ma tourism binu ka lem Uganda kubedi chani pegi warba pegi bina Uganda pian Museveni ukati yoko chiwachi ngo ebara chi Uganda kun en genu chiente wekichwal billions adi ire chena eni bero pe obo jo Uganda man kita ati mekere ni kimiete ki tujdano ki bola monweng bala kaya da kona ni bola ti Uganda State of the Nation address kulu la didlo pe loko me bola State of the Nation loko me bola berpe uberpe lokom en kono Rwanda kono nga kono Dr. Lawrence Muganga ni po meti loko ne ye pati lok mo ken la dit lobo kuluba. I'm saying the whole president had a national address a few days ago and did not speak about Ebola. Ain't that crazy? How are we supposed to believe that truly there is some sort of national pandemic in Uganda? You can see the trickery But the good thing is that they're the ones who own the tourist companies. They're the ones who own the passports. They're the ones who own the visas. They're the ones who own, who have plans to go abroad. They are the ones who, all of these things that they have for themselves set up have been stifled by the Ebola announcement by their own person. So, talking about shooting yourself in the foot, they plan on doing these things so they can put Ugandans on lockdown. This has instead locked them up. It has locked them up. There's no way these Rwandese people, the Kazoras and all of them, are all complaining. They can't. Sovereignty bill, clammed Dr. Lawrence, okay? Dual citizenship, clammed Dr. Lawrence. The guy's old. That's their problem, not ours. Legitimacy. He can't. He cannot make it for the world to accept him. The whole world has just ignored Museveni like a wanderer. Like, you know what, it's a crazy guy, just don't worry about him. Nobody cares about Museveni. Nobody acknowledges him. Nobody's inviting him for anything. And he knows it. The biggest thing Museveni struggles with right now is the truth. Because he knows it. Museveni knows he stole the election. Museveni knows Ugandans don't want him. Museveni knows that he's illegitimate. Museveni knows that the world doesn't care about him. Museveni knows that the world has figured him out. Museveni knows that he has killed a lot of people. Museveni knows that Ugandans have known every secret that he has done. All Museveni is trying to do now is to maintain a current situation. He doesn't know what tomorrow brings. He doesn't know what the next hour brings. Museveni lives for this minute, right now. And that's hard. That is hard for an old man who has no knees to continue chasing dreams like he used to. He doesn't have any. So I say all this to say that Uganda, you are...
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Here's how you chase that gray away.
At the brink of change. If anyone is losing hope, do not. If Museveni could not take over Uganda when we were sleeping, when we didn't care, or we didn't know what he was doing, when we praised Museveni and worshipped Museveni, if he couldn't take Uganda then, he couldn't do it now. Atika wachi, ka Museveni po kwanyo Uganda, ikara ma wan food we wa petiu, mapia wang wa ya pe, mapia wan yang kita jami waro kere, kita jara pa Museveni waro kere. Ko bedi chawa ni madong wa cho wani Museveni pera mo kwanyo lo Uganda. Atika waji jo ma unoni chwinyu tika to. Po to chwinyu, po ye. Au chunu matek. Aloka tika nen iyo wenya. Check mo iken ma Museveni utimo dak noni mako gena ye. Kwako gen dak loyo. Jomi weng ma Museveni utimo. Dir mwaka ko dir time limit ko dir weng peko pa Museveni. Gena Museveni do ngey loyo ena iloka da. Museveni ngey ni ena kwa lukui. Museveni ngey ni Ugandans dong pe mere. Museveni ngey ni jo lo ma wako dong pe mare. Museveni ngey ni lo ma wako be dong ngey kita en la kuo kere wa. Museveni ngey ni dano ngey ngo ma ena timo maduanta. Nek ma Museveni utimo. Dano ma tika kati ma tero lok kita Museveni or kikere katimo bal ma duanta. Ma Museveni kuperchane tamuni kai nego jo mogoro ti loga da karoko ento lok makichoy choy duanta lok ma wan lok ti video duanta lok makitimo recording ti duanta petie yo mo ke ken ma Museveni romulono gien ma enti ye kubeti chawani pero romulono ne awati wuku na ngeni au jing twin UPN ka obot kiching Museveni tek wode o mako ginyo ko mabewe chubo beru tek kwanye bo beru tek ento sign when yuruni po bitwere pien wang dano ya peko ini nen kita wa goyo kede Dr. Lawrence makimete kwanyo ne waki ministry nen kong loka dana kiken maki kweru te loki no ni Dr. Lawrence tiki citizenship uberu bukweta ni ena nywa eni beru gena like citizen me Canada Beranchi citizen me Rwanda. Passport ya de majali woro kere. Kekete lwenyo por Uganda kun Canada tika gon Uganda. Jale en ramu tung Canada go Uganda ko. En ginu wego tie ministry mogo mapeke mia tane. Piano in mire ibet ki gere very way in kache ini dako kila cho mangunu nyome. Ino kachalu dako pangari monene. Chuori dong ngat monene. In dong dagoni ngatimoni ni. In pera mu wachi an chwara ini ento ini bena chwara pelare. Ineno? Pelare miere chunka chel. En ki wachi jale ni tiki citizenship in Canada. Tie bena ki passport me Rwanda. Pingo en wachi ni en miere beru minister Uganda. Diru maja ka luanyo poro ikin Rwanda, Uganda, ki Canada. Ubichunka kwene. Ubichunka kwene. Kai ngeya ni jale eni ni wele Uganda. Obichung Canada nyochung Rwanda. Me gone Uganda dada ineni. Ine anwe. Anwe holo mapat. Kai donye mon lipap. Kituki wachi. Ini mara bib imero yer beruka kwene. Tung kwene. Kai donye moni Amerika kanki wachi. In kai ina nywali me Uganda. Mier kongwa nene walako. Kama ina bichung yero. Makituki ni citizenship mi America oko. Choro pien pe miere idonyi mon iberi moni ri konoti ni tikanti na chel tikan peki ye ene. Man ena yo beru ministry enini. Miere peki ye ina we. That is the problem. I miere ni a lock on Rwandese enini. It is not because of Rwandese as a race, as a human race that is a problem. No. It is the Rwandese in Uganda who think that they have power over the existence of Ugandan indigenous people. That is a problem. That's the problem. The problem originated from us allowing Museveni to become a president. Obote was right, but he should have stopped it anyway. Obote should have stopped this man from existing and not hired him and so on and so forth. But it's too late. It's too late for us to reverse what happened between Obote and him and the transition. Okay? But let us not allow it to continue. No. Premier wa ye mete ni danuma aki Rwanda. Obed alye la tela me Uganda. Ni joma aki Rwanda. Obiru bed mot. Gena yegu beri ministry. Gena yegu beri ministry mengo. Gena yegu yubyat. Gena yegu. Can you imagine in Mulago Hospital, government hospital, they have a pharmacy in there where patients, after being seen in Mulago, must go and buy medications from a pharmacy owned by a Rwandese in the hospital. A pharmacy is in a hospital that is privately owned. Can you imagine that? In a government hospital sits a privately owned pharmacy where a patient, after being treated in the government hospital, where there is no medicine, not gloves, no IVs, none of no cannulas. When women go to deliver, you bring your own bucket of water. You must go and buy medicine from this Rwandese person's pharmacy in the government hospital. Somebody could die because they don't have Panadol or Tylenol because this Rwandese person must make money off of the sickness in Uganda. The government will not provide, a government that is run by Rwandese people. You see that? There is rot everywhere. Rot everywhere. The problem, I'm going to say this for the last time, the problem with us not wanting Rwandese in Uganda is because they think they must prevail over indigenous Ugandans in every aspect of life, and that is unacceptable. Gianamiu pewa meti Rwandese oberi lobo Uganda ni. Penny down makinywale makelwoni Rwandese mati wilobo weng oberu rom. Ento mati Uganda ni. Pewa mirugi pian gentam ni gina yo miragila wan jo Uganda. Iyo moke ken, ioriat, igankwani, parliament, kakwana weng. Gina yo miragila menu bobi tiu. Pewa meti umete. Okay? So, briefly, that's what I wanted to talk about. If anybody's confused as to why there's a lot of language about Rwandese, Ugandans, my friends in America, you may have questions. The answer to that question is not that I am ungrateful about being an immigrant in this great country. No. I just don't think that I, as an immigrant,